On an average street in an average neighborhood, a piece of paper lies on the sidewalk. The people of the neighborhood leave their homes that morning to walk past the piece of paper. Many ignore it, some don't see it, others are irritated and hope that the person who dropped the paper picks it up. The next day, the paper is still there, a little more crumpled, it's blown around, and it's slightly more dirty. Even more people start to ignore the paper, until one person decides to pick it up. He reaches for the paper, but when he does, he sees that it's dirty and leaves it where it lays. Days go by, a few kids come running past and drop their fast food bags next to the paper. Days turn into weeks, weeks turn into months, and what was once just one piece of trash laying on the ground becomes a trash heap. The neighborhood deteriorates, the buildings begin to crumble, and people reminisce about the neighborhood that once was until they can remember no more. But do you remember the person on the first day who said, "I hope someone comes and picks up this paper"? Or the man the second day who went to reach for the paper and decided it was too dirty of a mess for him to clean up? Those people had the power to make change in their neighborhood just by simply picking up that one piece of paper. This is where we get into the value of you. If each of us had a blank piece of paper, the ideas about what we could do with that paper would take so long for us to execute that we'd be here the entire weekend. You might say, let's build paper airplanes. You might want to build a kaleidoscope. Someone in the back is throwing spitballs. Or someone sitting here and doing nothing. This world is filled with people with great ideas who do nothing with them. You have to begin to believe that you have the power within you to execute what ideas, visions, and dreams you have for this city. When the inner voice inside of you begins to say, "Who do you think you are?" silence it. When you begin to have doubts about yourself, "Am I good enough?" giving into imposter syndrome, don't listen to it. When you think your idea is too big and so you watch Netflix and do other things instead, stop procrastinating and go do it. President Barack Obama says, "We are the ones we have been waiting for. We are the change that we seek." We are consistently reminded that if we do not execute our goals, our dreams and visions for this city, our community, and our entire world, we will continue to watch pieces of paper become trash heaps. For 10 years, I lived in Washington, D.C. Washington, D.C. is the type of place where pretty much anything you want to do, someone's already done it. If you want to be a foodie, there's a list of food places to check out. If you want to be a change maker, you're pretty sure to run into a rally that's going on the mall, from everything from saving green spaces to fighting against racial injustice. If you want to get into politics, the Capitol is right there. You can check out the scene any day. I moved home in 2013, having spent 10 years being an observer and a participator in the life of Washington. The following year, our nation erupted into social unrest. In December 2014, a New York jury decided not to indict the police officer who choked the life from Eric Garner. I was sitting in my Memphis apartment watching the images on CNN roll in that showed people across the country filling streets with emotions, angry, and saying no more. I said, Memphis is the home of I Am a Man, Martin Luther King, Ida B. Wells, Ben Hooks. Why are we silent? Why are we only seeing images from Detroit and New York, the Bay Area, and Atlanta? So I went to my favorite place, Twitter. And I sent out a tweet and said, "Hey Memphis, what's going on?" Hashtag Eric Garner. That tweet received no response. And I found myself being the one to bend down and pick up that piece of paper that was racial injustice and silence in our city. And within 24 hours, I was the co-organizer of a protest at the Civil Rights Museum. Within a week, 25 people joined me on Beale Street, where we walked up and down the cold street, ridiculed by drunk Santas, prodded by the police, laughed at by merchants, with our hands up, saying, "I can't breathe." This was the beginning of a movement in Memphis, one that we have seen evolve and grow. Just 1 month ago, in August 2016, 2,500 people blocked the Hernando de Soto Bridge that connects Arkansas to Memphis. These people brought trash bags and said, "We are picking up the pieces of paper in our city that are racial injustice, inequity, inequality, disenfranchisement, poor education, and more. And we're going to say no more." People looked into themselves and found the value of you. And they stood up and they allowed their voices to be heard and force our city to change the conversation and notice the pieces of paper that are all of these societal ills based in racial inequity in our city and our country. Whatever it is that you have in your head today that you want to do to make change, the only thing standing in the way is you. If you want to build a community garden in a food insecure neighborhood, mentor children and teach them how to read, work with kids on their health and their fitness, and tackle the problems of diabetes in our community, whatever idea that you have, know that the only one who needs to execute that is you, because collectively we can all make this city and this country great. Be great, pick up the paper. Thank you.